Hello Scorpio friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my video, Scorpio August 2020 Astrology Must Knows. We are entering August free and clear of the retrograde energies that have dominated regarding Venus and Mercury. We are stepping deeper into, every day into August, Mars retrograde energies, and this is of special importance for Scorpios because Mars is one of your rulers. So we're going to talk quite a bit about these impending energies, and this is going to be a very lengthy transit and the many ways that it's likely to affect you. We're also stepping into a time where we're more free from the eclipse weight. There are still possibilities that the eclipses from June and July could be bringing manifestations, even new news, even the big news for some of you here in August. But for the most part, the heavy emotional nature of June and July is starting to dissipate in the month of August. And we're finding a new normal. Okay, there are a lot of aspects around why this month is all about kind of finding your footing, finding your legs. It reminds me very much of a baby giraffe when they're born and they start walking pretty quickly and they've got these long gangly legs and they're like, it's awkward. We've got actually more than twice the amount of challenging aspects this month compared to the sweet ones. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have a good month and that you won't rock this month. It's just a nuisance kind of ships passing in the night, you know, trying to connect with certain things, again, finding your footing, scrambly, awkward type of energy. But there are a lot of blessings in it, and there are a lot of aspects of this month that could be very beneficial for Scorpios, and we'll look at these in more detail as we look at the charts. There will be certain areas of life that are highlighted, and there will be some big booms. We've got two aspects this month that are very notable and pretty dicey, and they involve Mars, and one of them involves Pluto, so two of your rulers at play here. So we're going to talk at length about that. All right, so let's just get going here right away. So this post-eclipse time is a time where we find our normalcy. Basically, you know, the radical changes and the crazy news and the crazy events that have been happening tend to balance out now and find your new direction where your new normal starts to get set. Mars in Aries is giving momentum, is giving a push, and since the beginning of July this has been happening. Follow the flow as best as you can, because once Mars goes retrograde, you're very likely to be more lazy. Now this might be opposite for certain people. Some people who are born with Mars in retrograde will find that they're more productive and things tend to work for their forward movement when Mars is in retrograde. But for the most part, people are going to get lazy. The momentum is going to stop. And so the combination of having Mars in Aries, which is a very push, push, push energy, and then rolling backwards, which is a very not able to do anything energy, the keynote here is frustration and anger. So the more you can flow with the energies, the less angry and frustrated you will be. And it's just that simple. So the fine-tuning discernment process is going to be your big job for the rest of 2020 into the beginning of 2021, again, because Mars is your ruler. We've got major Leo energies and major Virgo energies. So let's look at what that's going to look like. A lot of the things that we talk about are going to be true for all Scorpio placements, but there will be places where I designate out differences between early, middle, and late. So we want to know where you're at in that. So basically our October born or 0 to 9 degrees are early Scorpios. My reports are for you, whether you have a moon in Scorpio or a Scorpio rising or a sun Scorpio. So you can figure out where you're at with these designations. Middle degree Scorpios are basically November 1st through 10th or 10 to 19 degrees. And late degree Scorpios are around November 11th through the rest of the sign or 20 to 29 degrees. Let's see, here we go. Okay, so let's start out here. We're going to use the early chart. Sometimes this throws people off and they think that the reading is for the early degree. It's not. We're just using this chart as our basis to talk about some things that are true for everyone, and in the cases where something may differ for the middle or late degree placements, I'll let you know. All right, so we talked about these Leo energies. The Sun is in Leo, Mercury is going to join in Leo, and these make a square angle to Scorpio placements. So we've got that energy of square coming up. Then this month we've got Mars, which will be later here, but it's going to square Pluto and Saturn, and that's going to be on the 13th and the 24th. Note those in your calendar because the days around the 13th and the 24th can be quite combustive. So you really want to watch your energy on those days. You really want to not push the envelope. Don't stress out a crazy person or a person who's had too much. And if you are that person who feels like you're about to go crazy, take time to deal with the anger through whatever you got to do. Exercise, just be careful to not hurt yourself through the assertive, push. Therapy, writing, punching a pillow, whatever you got to do. Tensions are going to run high for you and for other people at this time. And the degree to which you've worked out your anger issues and the degree to which you've come to peace and forgiveness with the things that have made you mad can be the degree to which you have peace and calm during this transit. Some of this may just have to do with an overburdened liver. Livers rule the anger energy and frustration energy in the body. And when Mars, which rules the frustration and anger energies from the zodiac perspective, these clash, sometimes people just need to detoxify from being, online and devices, detoxify from materialism, detoxify from, TV, relationships, substances, foods. So there's going to be a strong energy of detox here for everybody, but this is especially poignant for Scorpios, okay? So a must-know for Scorpios at this time and moving forward for the rest of the year is what ways do you need to detoxify your life? And these aspects, these 13th and 24th and the days around those, plus other pushes throughout the month and in the months to come, are going to really be making you ask this question, okay? The places where you're most overloaded are the places where you might need to detox the most, and the degree to which you are able to do that is going to really affect how you experience this. I love Epsom salt baths and salt baths for helping to take the burden off the liver and helping you to detoxify. Of course, always check these recommendations with your doctor for your certain situation, but just like simple, gentle ways that you can change the nature of the input and regulate and be with the energy of the output as far as like the emotions, that's going to be a very strong theme. Okay, so let's see what else here. So yeah, those Sun and Mercury moving through the Leo transits, they're going to bump there. But once the energies start getting into, and here we start out with Mercury in Cancer, that's nice for you. Venus is going to get over here into Cancer, that's going to be nice for you. Then the planets will start to get into Virgo, that's going to be nice for you. So as the month progresses, the aspects that are more favorable for you will start to take shape. And actually, even in general, my two favorite aspects this month are the 27th and 29th. And as I mentioned before, there are 2 times as many obnoxious aspects this month as there are sweet ones. So this little piece here between the 27th and 29th is kind of sandwiched in between these other dicey aspects. But what I like about this is that those kind of like combustive ones are before these other ones, which tells a possible story of things coming up, you working through them, and then by the time we get to these nice transits and by the time these aspects get more to a better angle for you, that as the month moves on, hopefully you'll be able to push through these energies and it can end on a more positive note. Not to say that you can't have positivity or good things happen before then. It's just kind of a lot to work with. I always call these types of energies like Paperboy, that old video game Paperboy, where the guy's just trying to deliver the newspapers and like all of this madness is coming at him and he's just trying to deliver the newspaper. So you're going to have a lot of things coming at you, especially the earlier part of the month. So let's talk about the areas of life that are going to be accentuated by these transits. All Scorpios are going to have attention to their 10th house, and this is going to get stronger for you the later in the month, the later you are in the sign. You can see the Sun starts out accentuating work and career right at the beginning for the October-born early degree. But for the middle degree placements, that Sun drops back here into the 9th house and drops back even further for the late degree placements. So what that's showing us, because the Sun moves a degree a day, so over the weeks of August, the work focus will get stronger the later you are in the sign. And this brings a spotlight. A spotlight can show you the things that are wrong that need to be fixed, kind of like a light in a dark room, shows the cobwebs and the cracks. But it can also mean you're burning bright and having recognition and having the things that you want in your work. So that house is going to continue to be more accented as these other planets start to move in there to follow. So this theme of work things in a long-term way has been going on for a while. In a short-term way, you've got some extra emphasis here now and in the upcoming months. What's being accentuated right from the beginning for all Scorpios, here's early is the 9th house. Here's middle, there's the 9th house, you see, and there's late for the 9th house, okay? And again, that's going to get stronger for late degrees as time goes on. So for all Scorpios, what we've got is a strong showing here in this teaching and learning and education, whether it's for yourself or your kids or for other people, however that works, whether it's in your work, education as your work, or however it shows up for hobbies or just something that you're drawn to do for professional purposes or what. Long distance travel and or international business connections in absence of actually going to international places. I don't know the degree to which things are going to be opened up by this time, but the same energy that rules an international trip rules international business and connections. So this energy is going to be lit up for you regardless of what restrictions there may be in the world. This is also a house of writing and publishing and editing and speaking and, teaching people about your spiritual beliefs or the things that you are known for. This is also like a church house. So like your spiritual beliefs, whether they're in an organized religion or not, this is really, really busy at this time. And this house, I really like this house being accentuated for Scorpios because it's the house of Sagittarius. And that brings more optimism, more hope, more creative solutions. So when you've got this house accentuated in the midst of kind of like we said, some dicey transits this month, and especially some big boom combustive ones that directly tie into your rulers. I love having the support and the buoy of this 9th house because it helps you to see more the solution and to look at the solution rather than looking at the problem, and it helps those solutions to be more readily available. Okay, so we've got that going on. Now these dates, let's see if that's happening. Okay, so then we'll get to that. All right, so Mars is in this 6th house for the early degree placements, and that's where it's going to be primarily dancing for this retrograde transit that goes, until the beginning of 2021. Middle degree placements, you're having that dance in the 5th and 6th house. In late degree placements, that dance is pretty much in the 5th house for you. There might be whispers into the 6th house, but that's not the predominant aspect. So what that means is that themes involving these houses are going to come up very strongly this month. There are going to be conflicts in these areas, which I'll tell you what they are. And there's going to be continued focus of how you use your energy in these areas. So for the early and middle degree placements, with maybe a whisper for some late, this is health. This is a time to harness your health. You can see that besides having Mars there, it's pretty full besides, right? That's health for early, health for middle. And as usual for the late degree placements, things are staggered a bit, but you still have support there. So this is still true for you all. You've got Uranus there in a long-term way, but it doesn't have as much energy as the early and middle degree placements, and Mars isn't focusing there as much. So basically getting your health regimens, getting your diagnostics. This is a great month for diagnostics. If you need an elective surgery, the further you can be away from Mars' actual retrograde, which starts September 9th, you're in the shadow period as of the end of July. If you can use the window July 22nd through July 28th, that's when it's most clear. But early into August, we're still not super set into the Mars retrograde that gets deeper every day. Mars rules metal. That's why this has an effect on surgeries. If you have an emergency surgery, like you have a tumor and it has to come out, don't worry about when it is. You have to do what you have to do. I get that question a lot. If you have an emergency, it's time sensitive, just follow the flow and get it done. What I'm guiding here more is like elective surgeries. So things involving even barber scissors, so like getting your hair cut. I know we've just gone through like a whole long period of time with Venus retrograde ruling beauty. So if you've got to do big hair things, like getting a new hairdresser, doing a crazy new style. The energy at the end of July, especially July 22nd through the 28th, if you're watching this early, is even better. But like early into August, you're not quite into that Mars retrograde yet. But as we go in, you know, like I said, it will deepen. Okay, so then for the middle and late degree placements, the bumps with Mars and the retrograde energy with Mars is going to be really strongly guiding you around your energies, how you use your energies, having to do with children, creativity, your creative projects, and romance, and your hobbies. And in some cases, things that are fun to the point of not being good for you, so like addictions. So remember this theme, and you can look more about this if you search for Annie Botticelli Mars retrograde, or you can click more in the arrow under this video, and you'll see links to my Mars retrograde video and my Mars retrograde blog, where you can see a lot more about what to expect with Mars retrograde and what to understand. But it's basically, Mars is how you use your energy. It has your oomph, it's your drive, it's your get up and go, it's your inspiration. So sometimes in the retrograde, that can be much more muted and lazy, but sometimes it can get returned back to certain things. Like in this case, especially for middle and late degree placements, your creative passions, your music, your art, that may feature very strongly in this Mars retrograde. So for the rest of the year, going back to using your energy in those venues. But everything is being called into question, like, maybe you have to use your energies differently there. Maybe you need to use your energies differently romantically. Maybe you need to use your energies differently with kids, etc. So those are the themes that are coming up, especially for middle to late degree placements. But anything in energy usage in any area of life is going to be a big theme for everyone in the zodiac. Okay. Another piece here has to do with a conjunction of Venus and the transiting North Node that's happening in the 8th house. Gosh, I lost one of my charts here. Oh yeah, okay, so the early degree, it's in the 8th house. The middle degree, it's in the late house, or the 8th house. And if I can find my late degree, there we go. It's also in the 8th house with some resonance in the 7th. But basically what that means is the transiting North Node has to do with your highest expression in this lifetime. And Venus has to do with love, money, harmony, success, relationships. And it's happening in relationship houses, okay, for all of you, whether even for your late degree where it dips into the 7th. 7th and 8th degree 8th houses are the relationship houses. So the translation of all of this is that there are keys to your highest expression in love and money and harmony and design and, you know, security that have to do with your partnerships. So getting straight with your partnerships, pulling in key people, working with them, collaborating with them, hiring them, you know, being hired by them, working in conjunction with people holds great keys for your highest expression now. And being very discerning as to how you use those energies is going to be a theme that is coming for the rest of the year. Okay, so now let's look at these really nice transits that are happening around the 27th and 29th of August. We've got Venus is going to come over here into Cancer, and it's going to trine Neptune, right? So Venus is there now at the beginning of the month, but by the end of the month, it will be here and locked into a configuration with Neptune. Let's look at what that looks like. So the 9th house and the 5th house is being accentuated. So for the early degree placements and for the middle degree placements and for the late degree placements, okay? So this theme of like the 9th house, which has to do with teaching and learning and traveling, and then the 5th house, which has to do with your creations and your children, there's like a sweet something there. And again, as I was saying before, the fact that this sweet time is after the bumps may mean there could be resolutions. And this could have to do with immigration, like immigration for your children. This can have to do with any combination of the 9th house energies with the 5th house energies. So look out for some kisses there towards the end with anything having to do with the kinds of things we talked about in the 9th house, which we listed extensively, and these 5th house ventures. And that's for all early, middle, and late degree. All right, one more thing that I want to look at here, and this has to do with Jupiter and Mercury. Mercury is going to come here into Virgo and is going to make a combination with Jupiter. All right, so for early degree placements, let's just see where it's going to happen, then we'll talk about this more. It's the 11th and the 3rd, middle, the 3rd also, and the 11th, but also the 10th, and the late degree, the 10th, and the 2nd. Okay, so let's look back at that. So let's first of all look at what we're looking at here. Mercury rules news. It rules communication, it rules expression. Jupiter rules expansion. And these are going to connect in earth signs. Earth signs means tangible outcomes, means mundane proof, mundane materialization of something. It's different than the trine that we talked about with the water trine, because that's more on the emotional level. It's inspiration, it's, emotional breakthroughs, things like that, spiritual things. But this other trine is really material. So you might see some pretty nice material gains come. And this can have to do with writing projects, again, because the 3rd house is writing. This can have to do with travel. This can have to do with internet-based projects, social media, websites, things like that. And you're standing within the group, you being part of a group. There's a lot of social energy here. So networking may come into play, so really pay attention for that. If you get this nudge to go be around people, it might be because this aspect wants to bring you something. If someone wants you to meet someone, says, oh, this person can help you or wants to connect you, this would be a good time to say yes to that, right? So that is going on for early and middle. And then the middle and late degree placements, you'll see this energy really show up in the house of work. So some work news, some tangible work outcomes. That might be how you get your kiss. And it could be support from your father, because that 10th house is father. So, any combination of these things that we talk about can come through there. And then for the late degree placements, there's also some extra energy on work and money. All right, so actually the money house, very strongly accentuated with this sweet aspect. So hopefully you'll get a little bit of a nice bump there after any of the ruckuses that came prior. Okay, so in general, there are awkward aspects this month. There is some boom, but the pressure can create momentum. The pressure can create positive outcomes, but it's stressful going through it. The month will tend to be less stressful from the aspect standpoint for Scorpios as it goes on. So just kind of be well rested, do your anger management stuff, do your detoxing, ask the question, what kind of, things you're supposed to be detoxifying in your life. And notice that the themes that come up this month are going to tend to have a pattern for the rest of the year, even into the early 2021. If you want more information, I highly recommend you look at my video on Mars retrograde and my blog on Mars retrograde, because this is extra important for you as a Scorpio, Mars being one of your rulers. And you can see those in the notes underneath the video if you click on more, or you can search for Annie Botticelli Mars retrograde. If you want written horoscopes by me that are super simple, not complex the way these are, then you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. All these links I'm giving you are in the notes under the video as well. And you'll see the horoscopes written 1 month early, simplistic, easy to follow. If you want more blogs and more free stuff, go to anniehelpsyou.com. That's my main site. When you sign up for my free email newsletter, you get my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free. And you also get delivered into your inbox all the notable aspects of the month, how they might affect you, delivered in your inbox 1 month early. So that's what you get when you sign up for my free email newsletter. You get that monthly. And I have free courses at my school, Luminous Life Multiversity. You can check that out at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E, life.com. You can also see my paid courses there, including Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course, which can help you to learn astrology, to do with it whatever you'd like to do. So if you resonate with how I teach and you want to learn, then it is this like a wellspring of astrology fun that is very, 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 very detailed, as you can imagine. If I put this amount of detail in the horoscopes, you can imagine what I put into my course. So you can see that at loomlife.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.